Welcome to Your In Depth, where we walk through and break down our favorite fictional universes. Today, we are covering the Clone Wars, and it's going to be one of the Ryloth kind of arcs, but it's one of those, another release time jump thing, whatever you want to call that. We're covering Season 3, Episode 3, but it's actually a prequel to Season 1, Episode 1, so we're doing both. In the proper order. And technically there's even another like 3-episode arc that fits in between those two. So whatever, we're just doing 303 and 101 right now. But regardless, I'm Jacob. I'm joined by Evan.
Hello.
And yeah. So Evan, did you get a haircut?
I did, or rather I gave myself a haircut.
Well, it's not like it's a terribly complicated hairstyle, and so
they're like a 5 on top and a 3 on the sides.
Yeah, no, looks all right. Looks decent. I just noticed it. So
yeah. Did that yesterday.
Cool. Anyway, that was random. Sorry. Anyway, so usually what we do is we will summarize the episode and kind of walk through it, and then I have an ad. And if you're new, it's not a real ad, but I have fun with it. And then we're going to go through, we took some notes as we watched the episodes and stuff, and we'll talk about that. So I have to preface this. So last time when we were covering Rings of Power, I discovered a Reddit post that made me laugh pretty hard because it was this, I don't even know how to describe it. It was basically like this, it was the whole episode summarized, but somebody was doing it in a really like a funny way.
It was like a modernized.
Yeah, there's
I don't know what the right word
is, like, and it was like summarizing stuff in a weird way, being like, yeah, basically they were like this. Well, that sort of inspired me.
Oh, geez.
To create some summaries for our episodes tonight. And I went ahead and recorded them because some of them require sound effects.
Oh boy.
And so I'm just going to play that, and that'll be our summary. Yeah, we'll proceed onward.
So not only am I listening to something for the first time of a summary, but correct. I am also for the first time going to be listening to an ad right correct. After it. Great.
Yes. Yep.
Lovely.
Yep. Yeah. It's lovely, right? I'm sure you like this. Well, anyway.
I wonder how many digs at me there's going to be in this.
Oh, I will disclaim right now. None.
Oh.
These
are you okay? Are you feeling all right?
No.
Oh.
Anyway, so we got our summary. In this episode, Ryloth is getting invaded and blockaded. Jedi Master Ima Gundai is holding the line with a handful of clones and Cham Syndulla. All the while, the Separatists spam droids like it's a free-to-play mobile game. They radio the Republic for supplies, and the Relief Admiral basically goes, "We're under attack. We're dying. Please send help."
Oh, jeez.
Classic Republic logistics. So the Jedi Council responds with their best military strategy, politics. They send Bail Organa to convince Toydaria to stage supplies, and they also send Jar Binks. Why? Because the Force works in mysterious ways, and sometimes those ways are retarded. On Toydaria, King Katunko, or something, wants to stay neutral, but Lot Dodge shows up to do his favorite hobby, basically being a sentient terms and conditions page. Publicly, the king denies bail. Privately, he's like, "Fine, I'll help, but if anyone asks, I was never here." So Bail pulls the greatest covert ops move imaginable. He has Jar Jar distract Dodd at a banquet by being so intensely Jar Jar that Dodd's brain enters self-defense mode and stops functioning. Supplies finally drop, everyone cheers, and the episode ends with the Republic patting itself on the back for saving lives using the revolutionary strategy of not being useless for 5 minutes. Then, the follow-up to this episode takes place in Season 1. It's actually the series premiere. So the Republic sends Yoda to Ragosa or something to convince King Katunko, these freaking names, to join up because nothing says trustworthy government like outsourcing diplomacy to a 900-year-old goblin wizard with a laser sword. Ventress shows up first and gives the separatist sales pitch like, the Jedi can't protect you, while she's literally arranging an assassination attempt, which is a very separatist way of saying, trust us. Then Yoda's ship gets jumped by the banking clan. Yes, the space IRS has warships. And he crash lands with 3 clones who all look identical because the Republic's army is just human photocopies with trauma. Ventress points at the Republic ship leaving and tells the king, see, they abandoned you. Which is technically true because the Republic's greatest superpower is failing upward. Ventress proposes a fair challenge, though. If Yoda survives her troops, Toydaria can join the Republic. If not, they join the Separatists. Yoda agrees because Jedi are physically incapable of hearing the phrase, this is a trap, without immediately walking into it to prove a moral point. Yoda and the clones move through the coral forest, droids spread out, get ambushed, and the clones start freaking out because they're outnumbered and low on ammo, aka their default setting. Yoda gives them the classic Jedi pep talk. You're all individuals, which is nice because they were literally manufactured to be replaceable, but whatever. Then Yoda goes off alone and deletes an entire droid column, because this is one of those episodes where the message is, the Republic is morally correct because our wizard is overpowered. Ventress gets salty and sends droidicas, but the clones drop rocks on them because it's Looney Tunes, I guess. And then Yoda saves the king. Ventress rage quits with explosives and Toydaria joins the Republic, meaning everyone wins. Well, except for the clones. They get to go back to being disposable property with a personality patch.
Oh my gosh.
So there's our summary.
Oh, jeez. Listening to that and how you talked about the Republic, the phrase, the most dangerous words, 10 words are, we're from the federal government, we're here to help, just came to mind. That's just what popped in my head listening to that. Oh gosh.
Well, anyway, and then we have our ad.
Oh, good.
This episode is brought to you by Neutrality, from the good people of Toydaria. Are your neighbors being invaded, starved, and shot by battle droids? Well, that's tragic, but remember, helping would mean taking a side. And that would be political. Neutrality. It's like having a fire extinguisher and choosing to watch the building burn, because the flames started it. Neutrality. We don't pick sides. We pick excuses.
Oh my God.
So anyway.
Why? My brain just went to Mandalore for the entirety of the Clone Wars. That's where my brain went for that ad.
Yeah, no, but I mean, when it comes to the frickin' like neutrality in Star Wars, it's very much the same vein where it's like so frustratingly like, we're not a part of this. Like, it's just, it's borderline like not logical. Their reasons, I'm not saying neutrality isn't logical, but their reasons are always like, are you, come on now. Like,
I mean, yeah, it's whether it's Toydaria not wanting to be on one side or the other, or Mandalore because they're pacifists. It's like that's all well and good when the entire galaxy's not at war and there's a small conflict going on. But when you have the entire galaxy up in arms, from clones to droids to planetary like defense forces of the local populace fighting. Easy Mau.
Yeah, my cat's sleeping on a blanket in my office. I just pulled my webcam to show Evan. Sorry, I just noticed him. He's cute. Then I noticed the cat. So anyway.
But, yeah, no, it's... on one side, I can see where Toydaria in this instance is coming from, right? They've got agreements with the Trade Federation. You know, and the Trade Federation are not technically with the Separatists, but they're with the Separatists. Mm-hmm. You know, and so it's like, oh, you help the Republic by actually helping the people that are suffering, we're going to end your trade rights. And so it's like, for Toydaria specifically, in this instance, in season 3, episode 3, I can understand their neutrality stance. Because it's like, if they don't do this, then their economy crashes. And they're just screwed. You know. But yeah, like you said, just time and time again, the excuse is given for not getting involved in
Sorry,
this
real quick.
conflict.
I don't just stop talking. You are not wearing your broken headphones.
No, I am not. I mean,
I just noticed that
right here.
Well, that's a problem, but not whatever. Nice.
Yeah, no, I picked these up. I think last week.
Cool.
Excuse me.
Anyway, sorry.
Yeah.
I'm just noticing different stuff. So with this pair of episodes, as I was watching it, only jotted down one thing.
Oh.
And that was Jar Jar sucks ass and I hate him. I did look into some other stuff to mention. So I can interject that if you wish to go through some things you want to talk about. Because, I didn't really jot down anything. I just found some kind of cool facts about it.
I mean, I guess to like start things off, you mentioned it before the summary. We kind of have a mix of arcs here.
Mm-hmm.
And we're like kind of creating an arc here where there's not technically an arc, with season 3, episode 3 and season 1, episode 1.
But
they both
we are
involve
the
Toydaria.
military force creating arcs. We are arc troopers.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. That also completely diminished the coolness of what ARC troopers are by making that stupid comment. I hate myself. Go ahead.
Well, but no, it kind of, like you mentioned earlier, it ties in, and I actually wrote them down. It's season 1, episodes 19, 20, and 21, which is the Ryloth arc that we covered however long ago. Where, it starts with Anakin out in space, and then it goes to Obi-Wan freeing the Ryloth prisoners, and then Mace Windu taking the capital. And season 3, episode 3 is not like right before that. There's probably a decent chunk of time in between those, because Ryloth falls, and then they do this campaign with Anakin and Obi-Wan and Mace Windu. But I do like that it's, even though the episodes are out of order for which they appear in the different seasons, I do like that they're tying these different things together and like giving you a full, story of what happened on this planet.
Right, and despite the... sorry, I'm distracted tonight. I have to share something.
Oh boy.
So, firstly, I started laughing because my eyes were wandering around, and I look up, and on the corkboard that is above my computer, I saw the Live Laugh Toaster Bath sticker. And I forgot that I had that. But then the other day, I was sorting through my desk, and it made me think of another one. Where is it?
I'm just waiting for this to not be Star Wars related whatsoever. That's what I'm waiting for.
What made you think it was?
I don't know. Just the fact that we're talking about Star Wars for this episode.
Yeah, no, it's not.
Ah, I see. Oh, goodness gracious.
Nah, I'm not going to keep looking. But there was one that it made me laugh, and I was going to share it with you, but now I don't know where it is. You can keep talking.
Well, sorry. I as we've said before, we've watched the episodes, and we tend to use like ChatGPT to just give us a breakdown of the episode and some easy points in that regard. And I was just scrolling through this, and it cracked me up. For season 3, episode 3, ChatGPT for some reason thinks General Grievous is in the episode somewhere, and he's definitely not. But it gets the gist of what actually happened in the episode. And I've commented on this before, where I'll do it this way, and it'll like interject or like mix up events from episodes of the arc.
Yeah. Found the sticker. It says, remember to drink water to stay hydrated while you suffer.
Nice.
I apologize.
Which, I mean, kind of ties into season 3, episode 3, because the Twi'leks don't have any water.
Yeah, I was going to say, what if you don't have water?
Well, then you call the Republic, and hopefully they'll get to you before you die. Hopefully.
Last thing, considering we're already halfway off topic, I don't think I showed you this shirt.
Little YouTube shirt?
Yeah. Check out the back of it, too.
Oh, there you go. You hit 20,000?
No, not yet.
No.
They celebrated 20 years of the platform, and as part of the creator, the perks thing, they had a limited edition shirt and a limited supply that you could claim, and I got one.
Oh, there you go. That's pretty nifty.
Yeah, it was fun. But anyway, sorry.
But no, I just like how they've tied, or not tied, but they've made these different episodes, even though they're out of order, to give us a pretty good picture of what actually took place on a planet such as Ryloth and all of the turmoil and stuff that happened there throughout the war.
Yeah. Well, it's also nice because despite the complaint that it's weirdly out of order,
right?
Like, why do you feel the need to start a series off and then 3 seasons in be like, why don't we create an episode that's before that one? And then 7 or 8 episodes later, let's do one that's like actually after that one, before the one that we started this season on. Or however like somehow they do it. Which actually that one makes a little more sense, I suppose, because it would be like filling in the gap after the fact. Because you said, no, it doesn't. It doesn't make any freaking sense. Never mind.
My only explanation for that would be they did season 1, right? Mm-hmm. And then when they were looking at they did season 1, and then they went into season 2, and they're like, we want to expand on a couple of these, but then throw in brand new episodes. And then they got to season 3, and they're like, we need to do more around this. This got a good reaction, so let's do more on that. But
yeah, maybe.
Who cares about a time frame and
but anyway, where I was going with that is never mind about the strangeness and kind of annoyance that I have about that. It is nice to see some of these situations and these stories built out more, because it does give a better picture of like not only an event, but the universe that we're, this fictional universe that we're witnessing.
Well, and I mean, they even give us a fairly decent conclusion to Ryloth as well once you get into the Bad Batch show that we'll cover that once we get through with Clone Wars. But we come back to Ryloth and get like a maybe not a satisfying conclusion, but we do get a kind of like a conclusion to what happened on Ryloth and the fallout of that. Mm-hmm. So I do like that they, again, even though it's out of order, I like that they give us a pretty decent, story surrounding this planet and tying it in with other planets and other races like the Twadarians.
Yeah. I did, speaking of order of things, I always am curious because I keep forgetting when the Clone Wars takes place as far as timeline and stuff. And I mean, it's pretty common knowledge, I guess, to anybody, but 22 BBY is when the Clone Wars starts, which makes sense because Attack of the Clones was 22 BBY. So it's like right now we're around that time. But all of that is 3 years before Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah.
Only 3 years.
Well, because I think, and I could be wrong on this, but I think before the Clone Wars TV show came out and they like gave us a proper, 3 years, I think the Legends span was 5 or 6. But we didn't really have, we had like the 2003 Clone Wars like miniseries to kind of fill some of that.
Right.
Excuse me. But yeah, all of the Clone Wars just takes place in 3 years, which getting 7 seasons out of it, even though like, the last season goes into events that happened during episode 3, a lot happens, which I guess it should. It's a whole galaxy, but a lot happens in that 3 years, where they easily could have not given us a full, arc with some episodes tied to said arc if they didn't want to, because there's just plenty of stuff to cover across the galaxy.
Yeah. One of the things that I didn't know that they had this. What's the Star Wars language called? Isn't it Arabesh or Arabesh something? Like the written hieroglyph stuff. I wrote it and I'm having a hard time seeing my handwriting, so I think it's Arabesh.
Common language. Google AI is saying Galactic Basic, but I guess that would be for like speaking.
Like the
written script,
language.
Yeah, Arabesh, I think is how it's pronounced.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that they had an entire Wikipedia to that. So they got, Wikipedia, but then they have this Arabeshpedia or whatever it is. And it like goes episode by episode, and anything written, they generally try to translate that. So I thought that was cool because there is a Jedi Temple monitor that displays some, and all that says is safety zone and outer rim. Then there is under the Clone Trooper macro binoculars thing. There's some, and it literally just translates to regular mode, infrared mode, min, max, zoom in, zoom out. So
they got a whole HUD up in there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I knew they had like a proper language and like alphabet that translated to, English. And I know because when we covered the Xylo Beast arc, there was those scenes where they have like Chancellor Palpatine up on like the big screen with that written language under there for different headlines and stuff. I personally have never gone back to try and like translate that or anything
I have
specific
no
like
desire
that.
to, but others do, and I'll read it.
Yeah. But with that too, and something I was interested in looking into that I was intrigued about was specifically because in this episode we have Captain Keeli and is it Jedi Master Jedi Master Imagundi or whatever?
No, it's literally I'm gonna die.
I was wondering what that clone battalion was.
Something like that, because they spelled it. And there's a lot of Reddit posts being like, he was intentionally named because he's going to die. Anyway.
I'm a gonna die.
I'm gonna die. Yeah.
Yeah. But no, I was curious of what, like clone battalion or legion or, if it had a specific name. The only thing that I could find was Keely's company for like Captain Keeli and his clones. And I guess it's not official.
That is the Middle Earth band from The Hobbit.
I hate you so much. I hate you so much.
Why?
Because it's not Keely's company, and you're saying it to piss me off. You know what you did.
Continue on.
Or fans, according to AI overview, so who knows how realistic that is, fans refer to them as the 303rd Legion within the Galactic Republic. But more commonly, it's just within universe, it's just kind of some of the Outer Rim garrisons. There's just a bunch of them kind of spattered all throughout.
Yeah.
But I will say we get introduced to, was it Cham Syndulla in the original Ryloth arc from season 1, and we get a return of him in this episode as he and his freedom fighters are, fighting alongside the clones. And just like in season 1, he's just like got this stick up his butt and expects everything to happen just because he wants it to happen. I personally am not a big fan of Cham Syndulla, but I know there's quite a fan base for him out there. And for anybody that doesn't quite realize who that is, if you've watched Star Wars Rebels, that is Hera Syndulla's father.
Now, who do you think has a bigger fan base, Cham Syndulla or Denel?
Probably Denel for no freaking reason whatsoever. People have this stick up their butt saying that Denel's so great because he made Cad Bane bleed. For all we know, Cad Bane took a freaking knife and made himself bleed just to appear injured.
Just blasting MCR, and he's just chilling beforehand, venting.
But I'm going to come back to the episode before I go down a rabbit hole on that again.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
But I think a really favorite part of mine in this episode is that last stand of Master D or Master Dai, whatever his name is, and Captain Keeli. I really enjoy the last stand. It's just that one of those fight to the bitter end. Captain Keeli even gives a line of like, "Come on, General, we can, we can beat them or we can take them." It's just like that refusal to give up against insurmountable odds. And it just it reminds me of an episode in, I believe, season 6 or 5 that we'll get to when we get to that season. Just another, final stand of a pretty dope clone.
Yeah.
And I really don't want to talk about Jar Jar because I hate him so much.
Do you have anything to actually say about him? Because I'm not going to make you say
For
anything
once in his
him.
life, he did something useful.
Yeah.
I mean, he managed to distract the dude from the Trade Federation so the supplies could get passed without being seen. For once in his life, he wasn't useless or detrimental to the war effort.
Yeah.
I mean, and I hate how effective it was when it was just all on the spot, impromptu bullcrap, which just leads more and more fans to the Darth Jar Jar theory because of how clumsily but expertly he performs this acrobatic stunt with all the plates and cups and whatnot. I hate it with every fiber of my being. I hate it. Oh God.
I don't know. I mean, I haven't had much else. Like, there was some, I guess you touched on the more notable kind of scenes, but I just, this 2-episode group to me wasn't terribly like noteworthy, I feel like, yet.
Not
maybe
really.
the next the the further episodes that build on this might do better as far as like, but I just, I don't know.
Well,
I don't have much to talk about personally.
I feel like they could have done more with this first episode with season 3, episode 3. But they didn't need so much Bail Organa and Jar Jar in here. They truly didn't. They could have expanded on this initial fight on Ryloth. They could have expanded on Toydaria and the Toydarian people. They could have gone into that a little bit more. But instead, you have Jar Jar playing acrobatics for 5 minutes, looking like an idiot, and somehow pulling it off.
Mm-hmm.
And that immediately drops this episode from, like, fairly high up in the tier ranking, in my opinion, to just about near the bottom out of all of the Clone Wars because of it. Which sucks, because you have awesome scenes like the last stand of Jedi Master Dai and Captain Keeli. And you have, like, the comical scene of, the clones prepping that LAAT gunship with explosives and the droids opening it up and giving one of their stupid little droid one-liners.
Right.
And then realizing the explosives are going to blow up. Like the comical droid stuff is in there. But that all, in my opinion, gets diminished by how ridiculous Jar Jar is, and even in that ridiculousness somehow succeeding. It just diminishes everything else of the episode.
Yeah. Yeah. But with that, I'm not going to stretch for conversation. So
no,
if
we
you have
can
anything
move
else
on.
to...
We can get away from season 1, episode 1.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Go for it. Again, I have nothing.
I think I'm trying to think of what it was. So Lieutenant Thyre in this episode, if I'm not mistaken, in Revenge of the Sith, it has been since confirmed since this episode came out that the clone trooper that comes up after Palpatine Yoda fight, right, and says they didn't find Yoda's body, if I'm not mistaken, that clone has been confirmed to be Lieutenant Thyre from this episode. Which I thought was a cool
Is that one of those
connection to make.
throwaway ones where it's just like, who is this one? And then a name gets thrown out and it's like, oh, it's canon now.
Well, it wouldn't surprise me if that's the case, right? I just think it's a cool yet tragic nod to, Yoda in this episode kind of speaking words of wisdom to this clone and like giving him, like confidence in himself. And by the time you get to Revenge of the Sith, this clone is now checking to see if said Jedi is dead for the Emperor.
Yeah.
So I just thought that was a cool connection between the two. This episode is a lot of action, which kind of makes it hard to really talk about and really kind of get in depth with it. But we do get...
That's kind of what I ran into.
Yeah.
So I apologize for being like, here's the reins, go for it.
Right. No, you're good.
But I don't. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, we've mentioned this before. It's hard when it's just an action-packed episode to really get, like good talking points. But this is the episode where we get Asajj Ventress for the first time. Season 1, episode 1.
Yeah.
Which went from... I feel like Asajj Ventress went from hated villain to beloved anti-hero over the course of the Clone Wars TV show.
Yeah.
And I mean, we'll get to more episodes with her and how her story, develops throughout all the Clone Wars as we get further in. But I mean, I think it's a solid introduction to the character. We get a little bit of her in We get a little bit of her in the Clone Wars movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
The animated movie. But I think this one kind of just really gives you the like proper intro to her.
Yeah.
Of her like deceptiveness, her schemes, her constant failure of the tasks that Count Dooku gives her.
Yeah.
She very much reminds me of Darth Maul. For anybody that hasn't watched the Clone Wars, get out from under your rock. Spoiler ahead, kind of, Darth Maul shows up in the Clone Wars later on. And his story continues to be, like reach for power and fall, reach for power and fall, reach for power and fall. And I think Asajj Ventress very much parallels that. And we get a proper introduction to that in this episode where, by all rights, she should have won. She had hundreds of battle droids. She had tanks. She had the droidicas with their energy, their ray shields and everything. Yeah, you've got Master Yoda, but it's just Master Yoda and 3 clones. But by the will of the Force, the 4 to 5,000 odds or whatever it is somehow turns in the favor of the 4. And I think it sets up her story quite well and just kind of setting the tone of what to expect from her.
Yeah.
Other than that, I don't really know if there's too much more to talk about on the episode, really.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at, like I said. So I have nothing.
I mean, I guess the last thing I would mention without going into like a long dialogue about it, because we've talked about it before, is we get more humanization of the clones, with Yoda sitting down with them and kind of pointing out some flaws and things like that with them and trying to help them kind of overcome those flaws. But we've talked about that time and time again as they've come up within the first 2 seasons.
Right. Yeah. Because I'm more eager to get into Lord of the Rings, I think that my high point low point was all of it with Jar Jar.
Yeah, I knew that was coming.
High point.
If you want to think on that, I can give you mine.
Sounds good.
Because, I mean, my low point is the same as yours. Like, all of the Jar Jar stuff is just low point for me, as I expressed.
Yep.
My high points are actually split between 2 different scenes, one from each episode.
Okay.
The first one is, as I was talking about with the first episode, the last stand of, the clones as the Twi'leks are, like, fleeing through the caves over the mountains, yada, yada. I think that's just a cool scene. I always like and this gets me a little conflicted, especially when you compare it to the original trilogy. I do always like the standing in resistance to overwhelming numbers, right? I think that really resonates with people, and so I always enjoy those moments. But my other one is in season 1, episode 1, when Yoda like hops down in front of the droid like column, and he does like the superhero landing, and then like lightsaber out to the side ignites and like looks up, and you get that really cool like just intro to the Clone Wars, like what's the word? Like all the audio's like dampened, right? And you just get Yoda going ham like we see in Attack of the Clones.
Yeah.
Turning from the frail old Jedi Grand Master who's there to advise people into, a very, very high skilled and well trained warrior.
Yeah.
I just think that scene is just it's so cool in a Clone Wars episode, and it really sets the tone, I think, for the skill of the Jedi going forward in the Clone Wars.
Yeah. I thought of one that I would say my high point is, and I would agree with yours, but I'm not going to take those as my answer. It was just one of those stupid, like, droid moments where it was like, it just made me giggle. And it was that explosive thing where they like open it up and they're like, wasn't it something like, oh, it's only some explosives. Explosives. You know?
Yeah.
And yeah.
I love how the Clone Wars, they don't fully humanize the droids, right? But I think it's funny that they give them some of these like one-liners that are just like stupid programming type of one-liners. I always find those enjoyable.
Yeah. Well, I suppose let's not drag this on any longer. I think as a call to action, as a lot of people will call it, for a proper video and proper podcast format, I would just say, if you are on Spotify, go ahead and drop us a comment. Let us know what you thought. Let me know what you think of the new summary way I did that. Let us know what you think specifically of Evan's voice.
What?
And then if you're on Apple, go ahead and leave us a review. I would just say those two things. And if you're on something else, why? Oh, YouTube. If you're on YouTube, subscribe.
With that, then, we will catch you guys next time in Rings of Power next week. Or if you're only here for Star Wars, we'll see you in 2 weeks for... What's the next arc?
Oh,
anyways, whatever that is.
Whatever it is. I don't need to look. I will look, though. Now I'm bugged. It is the Mandalore's Black Market arc. So it's episodes 5 and 6 of season 3.
Back to Mandalore.
I need to figure out what happened to
Duchess
season
Satine.
4, because I don't have that written. Either way.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Deuces!